Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm Ryan Tuerck, and welcome to Talkin with what?
At home.
Talkin at home with me, Tuerck. Welcome to the show. We're going to be doing this for the next quite a few Thursdays, and just trying to fill time and talk to the fans and talk to anybody who wants to ask some questions. And this is more or less just an open conversation. So, guys out there, if you're watching, tuning in, please ask away whatever questions and comments you want to make, and that'll kind of keep the flow of the show going. Right now we're coming to you from Mid-City LA at Race Service. It's pouring outside. It's actually pretty chilly out. Not the best of weather, but it's good for the state. They don't get enough rain ever, right, Sam? Oh yeah, but we got Sam producing the show over here with the headphones on, looking like a square. But yeah, flip the camera.
Thanks for the direction, Tuerck. Yeah, I'm Sam. What's up? I'm going to be helping out here and fielding questions from you guys. So essentially the format of the show is just going to be Ryan rambling on about what he's doing with Nido, current projects, what he's doing in this quarantine, just everything that is going on in Tuerck. And we just want to hang out with you guys, so feel free to post your questions in chat, and we'll just be getting to your guys' questions and talking, hanging at home with Tuerck. So, Tuerck.
All right, Sam, you got any questions, Sam? Not we. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, I'll fire this thing up. What are you working on right now? You just started your recent blog stuff, so we've all seen, or not we all, I think a lot of people have now started to see your stuff coming on YouTube, and we're seeing you vlogging a bit. Tell me about what's been going on in your personal projects while we've been not at Formula Drift, because this weekend was supposed to be Formula Drift Long Beach. Instead, we are here at our race service today. But what have you been working on?
Yeah, great question, Sam. Thanks for that. Yeah, so I guess I've been working on a lot of quite a lot of projects. Some of them behind the scenes that aren't ready to be announced yet. One of them being that with that Judd engine that just showed up to the U.S. finally, and that's going to be something big. I should hopefully be able to share with everybody quite soon. But with the obvious things that are happening in the world right now, things have stalled in the industry and all across the world. So those things are coming out a little bit later than expected, but they'll be out nonetheless. Other than that, I've been kind of filling my time and just trying to stay up with some sort of schedule. Obviously, the kicking off my YouTube channel all over again, doing a lot of content, has taken up a lot of my time. If anybody, I have a whole new respect for everybody out there that does vlogging on YouTube and weekly and even more than weekly content, like daily content. That is it's a hard thing to continue to do with having fresh content to dish out even just on a weekly basis. So I'm trying to do my best with that and keep the fans up to date with what's going on. And it's been fun. It's a new challenge, and it's you know, we've always filmed for other channels, mainly Chris and I, and it's always been for somebody else or somebody else's channel. So I wanted to kind of bring that more in-house and finally focus on my own YouTube channel and do more behind the scenes kind of stuff and more vloggy stuff, so that you guys get more of a personal interaction with my day-to-day and kind of what I have going on as far as projects. So mainly the main thing we're actually doing hands-on right now is the East Coast car. So it's the 8.6 build that we originally built on the Blackout episode. We called them the Baja cars, and we got a little bit of a budget. We called them the 25K cars that we were building for Baja style. So, you know, bigger, heavier duty suspension from BC Racing, 15 or 17-inch wheels, some all-season tires, like nothing too crazy, but just enough to go out in the desert and have some fun with. And we filmed a phenomenal video out on the outskirts of Las Vegas last year to end that. And then I decided I wanted to make another demo car because I had all of the leftover parts from the Tuerck Street car when we transitioned that car to the Pro car. So I have all these parts kicking around, and engine, transmission, literally an entire car to build another 8.6. So I wanted to do that, and then I'm nicknaming it the East Coast car because it's going to live at Englishtown or on the East Coast, so that I can be bi-coastal and have cars on both sides of the country that I can go shred and not have to try to line something up, because a lot of times that becomes a bit of a headache, and then if you break something, you owe somebody something, and it's just not an ideal situation to be in. So that's kind of what I've got it's kind of what I have going on lately, besides working out and trying to keep a normal day-to-day, I guess, a day-to-day deal. It's tough. Everyone wants to be lazy. It's like you can't get out of your own way sometimes. Like, you want to do something, you're bored as heck, but you still don't want to do anything because you don't have to. You feel me?
I feel you, Tuerck. And on that note, Mark Krumme, K-R-U-M-M-E, I'm going to say Krumme, he says, I hope you two are 6 feet apart, and we in fact are. That's the whole purpose of this 2-cam setup, is so I can field the questions to Tuerck while not being within his breathing range. If he does decide to mess with me, I do have, oh, it looks like Tuerck's already on it. Yeah. Mine is so much more fashionable than yours, Tuerck. You look like such a scrub.
Yeah, but this is the proper N95 mask.
This is N99. That's 4 more than yours.
You got the N, whatever. He's got the N9, whatever, right? It's fine. I've been working in this. That's why I got the grease all over it. So try not to spread the germs. Make everybody feel comfortable out there. So
the one question that I am seeing a lot of already is talking about that Judd V10. You mentioned it in your stories yesterday. You have been hyped up about it, yelling everyone's ear off about it, at least here for the past however long. You are really excited for this motor. What is exciting about it? What makes this thing special?
All right, so let me kind of start off by saying that this motor, I found out about this motor probably like 7 years ago, just searching whatever YouTube videos. I always just love watching hill climb cars and just all kinds of the wild stuff that we don't have here in the States, so a lot of Europe stuff and just race cars in general, WRC, just like what those guys and those teams are doing. A lot of the time it's really hard to find out what engines those cars have and what they, displacement, power, all that stuff, because it's kept so kind of secretive, or it's just not public knowledge. You kind of have to be in that scene to know. So anyway, I found out about the Judd engines 7 years ago or so, maybe a little bit longer, and you couldn't find a ton of information. You still can't find that much information, but you can find a lot more YouTube videos because those engines are now a little bit older, especially the V10 that I got. That was made back in 1998 and was used in the Le Mans series for quite a few teams. And they actually won I think the 2001 Daytona 24-hour with one of their teams, running the exact motor that I had, the V10. It's called the GV4, which is the 4-liter V10 from Judd. And it makes about 730 wheel horsepower unrestricted and revs to 11,000 RPM. So this engine for me has kind of been my unicorn, and it was actually what I wanted to do before we even built the GT 4586 with the Ferrari swap. The engine being so expensive, it was a little bit unobtainable at the time. And the 4586 was just another idea that I had. I wanted to do something with an exotic motor, and that just happened to be it. And it worked perfectly. It was an awesome build, awesome project, was super successful. Gumont was stoked, and obviously that was, we debuted that back in 2016. So I figured it was time, and I was kind of bored with what I had going on. It wasn't a lot of fresh stuff. I wasn't doing a ton of fresh stuff besides filming content and then running the FD program. So it was time for a new build, and I wanted to do this. This is it. This is like the thing that I've wanted to do for so long now, and just kind of had to kind of wait for the right opportunity. I found the motor online. It was brand new, but it was used from it was brand new, but secondhand from another team that was selling it. So I didn't have to pay full retail price. But I did have to sell my pro car in order to get it, because I had to come up on some cash. So it was a little bit of a sacrifice there, and a little, disappointing after everything that car has gone through. But it went to a homie of mine, Colton at Redline Restorations, and he has, we made a deal, and he's like, dude, anytime you want to drive this thing, send me fuel and tires and we'll get it prepped and ready to rock. So it's a cool situation where he is not worried about me coming to go and just shred some tires in that thing at Englishtown or a Lock City event down at Thompson Speedway. So it's going to be a cool deal where I can still get in the seat of that thing and shred it a couple times a year maybe. But back to the Judd. So the game plan is, and I can't share too much with you guys yet because we're still firming up partners, and obviously with the slowdown, it's been taking a lot longer to be able to put everything together for this project. But it's going to be a really like next level build for me, where we're going to show a lot of cool things that I've never experienced and done before on a build, and as well as just the technical side of what we're going to do with this car and what we're going to show you guys, because we're going to do anywhere from a 7 to 15 build episode series on this car until it gets debuted before SEMA this year, and that's the game plan. And I guess that's about it. Like I can't really tell you guys any more than that. There's so much information that's going to come out, and I want to save it all for the video series that we're going to do, because it's just, I don't want to take away from that. I mean, it's going to be exciting. It's going to be really cool. I'm going to have you guys, I'm going to be showing everything every step of the way for you guys to follow it and be up on. And it's going to be a lot more well put together than me just talking about it right now. So anyway, stay tuned for that. Don't hate me too much because I'm keeping secrets, but it's just the nature of the times that we're going through right now, and good things to come for sure.
And if the fact that you sold a 2019 crazy FD build entire car just for a motor doesn't excite people a little bit, like that's letting you know like the level of what this motor is going to be, and I can't wait to see what you end up doing with it. And I guess you guys will all catch up with Ryan on his vlogs and the stories he's telling about that thing. It's definitely going to be cool. Mike in chat and a lot of other people are also asking, how are you preparing to drive the Corolla this year? So it was recently announced on Nitto's stream last week that you're going to be driving I don't want to mess up the nomenclature on it. You tell me what's the car, what do we call it?
It's the gum out Nitto tire Toyota Racing Corolla hatchback.
So you're going to be in the Corolla, Osmo is going to be in the Supra.
Yeah.
Mike has asked, how are you preparing to drive the Corolla this year? Are you doing any simulations, any games? Obviously you had the car in the off season doing some events, but what are you doing in general to be prepped for this monster?
Yeah, currently no simulation or game stuff. I don't have I don't have a sim or anything like that, but I am more or less just waiting. I mean, I got a lot of practice in the demo Corolla, which is a slightly detuned version of the pro competition ready Corolla. So I have a really good base and a good sense of the characteristics of the car, which is great. And it actually wasn't planned like that. I didn't know that I was going to be stepping into the pro competition Corolla back when I was driving the demo car for Toyota. I essentially asked them what that car was doing, since when I crashed the pro car and again had to turn the demo car into the pro car, I was down a car. So I needed something to be able to use for grid life. Since we sent the GT4586 to Goodwood last year, so that car was overseas doing that. And in the meantime, I still obviously want to drive and perform at grid life events, the Nitto Auto Enthusiast Day events. So Toyota graced me with allowing me to drive that Toyota Corolla demo car. And that worked out perfectly because, of what transpired over the course of the off season and being able to step into this pro competition Corolla hatchback that's put on track and run by Papadakis Racing. Like, for me, it's a dream come true, because now for me, I'm in a full suit and helmet deal, and we call those rides a suit and helmet deal because I don't have to do any of the legwork or the logistic work or calling my partners every single day about needing this part, needing that part, and facilitating the team and making sure that the team is running and operational and things are moving. So now I can just show up with a suit and helmet, drive the car, do my job, and have a blast, obviously, and then carry on to the next thing. So that leaves the door open for me to do other things again, like doing vlog content and supporting my YouTube channel with a lot more content, and just coming up with new ideas and more like the Tuerck style days where we did a lot of filming and really made some really great, cool content that was super fun to be a part of. And that's what I'm looking forward to, is being able to start and kick that all off again alongside this build project with the Judd and the East Coast car. And I guess that's kind of how I'm preparing. I'm just kind of waiting till we go testing and get to feel the chassis for the first time in pro competition trim at 1,000 horsepower and have those big 315 Nitto NT 555 G2s on the rear, and then just get the setup dialed and go through that learning process of, you know, different setups on the car. So I'm looking forward to all that, and it's gonna be sweet for sure.
So we want to do a walk around of the current state of the East Coast car in a little bit, but Gabriel Milori has a really hot question for you, and super important. Have you watched Tiger King yet, Ryan?
You know it. Absolutely watch Tiger King, yeah. Yeah, I'm up on most of the, I guess, the top 10 list of Netflix at the moment. Me and my fiance like to watch TV in the evenings, and, you know, movies, catch up on TV shows, whatever it is. Obviously, there's a lot more time for that now. I'm not working late at the shop on the car or anything, just because of the orders that are in place here in LA and the policy. I don't, you know, you don't want to go too far outside the guidelines of that and interaction with people. So yeah, plenty of TV watching time. Up on Tiger King. Crazy, absolutely crazy. What I mean, from where it started to where it ended, like, who the heck would have thought that's how things would have transpired? Wild ride for sure.
And then in chat we also have from Kalsang Sultim. I think I nailed that. It's a good last name. He or she says, how do you feel about the future of motorsports with electric cars taking over the future? And I guess you could also kind of expand on the future of motorsports in general, given what we're doing right now with everything.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's going to be so slow to happen in motorsports. Obviously, you've seen it in F1 for a few years now. Obviously, there's the E-Series as well. I actually went to one of those. I got to drive one of the Robo Race vehicles, 750 horsepower, all-wheel drive, based off of an LMP chassis, like full monocoque, carbon fiber, like ridiculous. Super powerful. The power is unbelievable. As far as it, you know, implementing itself into motorsports, I think it's going to be a long road for that before, you know, until there are stronger government sanctions on all that stuff. I don't think to see that happen quickly. I think that's going to happen on such a long period of time that it'll kind of, you know, it'll be like, okay, this is happening. It'll be more familiar with everybody rather than kind of a shock. I think it's going to be cool. I hope there's a place where both conventional engines and electric engines can live. Obviously, the lack of sound is the biggest drawback. There's pros and cons to both of them. The pros for the electric engine is just the power at your foot. Like 10% throttle could be 1,000 foot-pounds of torque. Like it's pretty wild. So that part of it's really neat. But the sound and not having that, I mean, the whole reason why I want to build this Judd engine is because this thing is going to sound like a Formula One car, like, you know. So I think that's going to be the biggest thing to try to get over. And but you know, I mean, it's all cool things. I love the technical side of the sport and everything that goes into it. And the electric stuff is still pretty new to me. As far as understanding how that all works and the technical side of that, I think it's going to be a slow rollout, but it'll be cool when it all becomes a little bit more mainstream in a racing side. Did I answer the question?
Yeah, I think he answered the question as full as most people could really answer the question, but obviously we're doing everything we can to be safe right now, and we all want to get back to motorsport. But thankfully, a lot of people now have more time to work on their projects, which you're doing right now, actually, or have been doing on your blog. Do you want to tell, just kind of walk us through, I guess, what's going on with this East Coast car, as you've called it, and where you're going with it, what you're doing with it. And to you guys out there in the comments, feel free to keep on leaving those comments. I'll be asking Ryan throughout and until we end this thing. So Ryan, take us away.
All right, I'm gonna disconnect here, and I'm gonna walk you guys around a little bit. Should I turn the camera on? Okay. Boom. All right, guys, here's the East Coast car. So, you know, not much has gotten done since the last vlog. Vlog episode 4 kind of shows what we have done and kind of where it's going. Obviously, there's no engine in or transmission in it yet. The next thing we want to do, besides the rear mount radiator, which I'll get to, is replace this portion of the frame rail, which was dent. When we tried to pull it out, we split the metal, and we could patch this up, but Toyota, you can buy these frame rails from Toyota, which is nice. So we can just like cut this off and just replace this whole front. And then down here, we're gonna cut this off, cap the sides, and put a nice piece of square bar to tie up the lower rad support. And then that'll be all set. Moving to the back, got some fresh doors on it. And then the Mishimoto radiator, which will be converted to a triple pass, will be back here. We'll kind of split this window in half in the back so that there's plexiglass from about here up, and then down here backwards will be kind of an open area for the radiator to draw fresh air from. But I mean, we made some good progress with the time that we had. It's just Dominic, who's the main fabricator that I work with, he had to go home and finish customer work on at his shop in New Jersey, and then obviously all the stay-at-home orders came in, so we couldn't continue. We got these I like to call them the smoke panels, because we patched this this big factory hole from the factory in the side here, which is normally covered by the fender well. So we just patched those up. It's getting a little rusty. I have to clean that up and paint it, but we made good progress, but there's still plenty to do. Maybe like 30% done on fab. So that's where we're at with that. It's, I'd like to be further along, but it's where we're at. I'm gonna go more into the 2JZ engine that we're gonna put in this now, and I'm gonna seal up some of the oil leaks that it had from the street car previously, and just go through that motor and address some of the issues that it had, which was really not much. There's a couple leaky spots from me not sealing it properly the first time, and beyond that, just kind of go through the valve train, make sure everything looks good in there. And then I'm not sure what I'm gonna do yet. Maybe you guys can help me. I have a V160 get-drag transmission for that, or that I've used for the streetcar for a while now. And I'm thinking about going a 4-speed H-pattern box, like a racing transmission, like a Samsonis or a G-Force. And I'm not sure if I should do that yet. What do you think, Sam?
I mean, are we talking like a H pattern versus like flick shifting, or what are we talking?
Well, the 6-speed is an H pattern, and the 4-speed would be also H pattern, but it's a street transmission that has helical gears, so regular synchros and helical gears, and then the racing transmission has straight cut gears, so a lot stronger, a lot easier to replace gears if you need to, and should last longer, essentially.
I mean,
holds up to more power. It can handle more abuse. It's a racing transmission.
You're gonna break it no matter what. So I'd say whichever one is. See, there's always the cost with Tuerck. It's like there's the cost of the more reliable part, but he's also gonna break it. So you just really got to do the spreadsheets and figure out how often is Tuerck gonna Tuerck this, and then how much does it cost when he inevitably does.
It's a good point. Thanks.
What
it doesn't help though. It doesn't help.
What tires are you going to be running on this East Coast car, and what power is it making versus the tires you're running on the FD spec car, and what power that's making?
So yeah, the East Coast car, I'm probably going to keep the motor where it's at as far as power wise from the gray street car. It was making 750 horsepower on a GTX 4088 Garrett turbo at about 29 pounds of boost. So we'll probably keep it there. And then the tire size we're going to run is a 275/40/18 in the rear, the Nitto NT555G2. And then in the front, we're going to run an NT05, which will be a 265. I'm not sure if we're going to go 35/18 or 40/18 for profile on that. But that'll kind of be the setup. And then the Corolla, which makes 1,000 horsepower with nitrous, is going to run the 315 Nitto NT555G2 with 275/40 or 275/40/18 NT05s in the front. So that'll be a pretty legit setup. And we ran something similar we ran that same setup on the 8.6 last year in pro competition as well.
All right, we got a question from David here. David says, what's a dream Toyota that Ryan would like to have in his garage?
A dream Toyota would definitely be the Mark IV Supra as well, and the Mark V Supra, to be honest. We'll see, the Mark IVs are so expensive now that it's just like hard to come off that kind of money for a car like that. So I don't know, maybe in the future I'll find something that's like kind of the perfect scenario, because I'd want to do a full build on it. I wouldn't want to like just buy a stock Supra and then, you know, have somebody else's, be fixing somebody else's, or maybe not fixing, but putting my own setup on somebody else's car. So I'd like to find something that's pretty stock and doesn't have modifications done to it, and or it's already like a car that's been taken apart and was started as a build and something that I could finish myself. And then I'd love to get a Mark V Supra. Those things are sick, and seeing Osbo's Supra get built through the off season down at Steph's shop when it was top secret and I couldn't say anything was super rad. I was all over it, staring at everything, asking the guys a million questions and getting yelled at because they weren't getting back to work and all that stuff. So I was super excited for that, to see that thing come to life. And they were actually just about to test that car before the stay-at-home orders that LA put in place. So it was a bit unfortunate. They got it tuned and running, and you can see all that stuff on Steph's YouTube channel, the build project that they have going, which she does a great job of, and it's super informative and really cool to see all that thing come together in person and on YouTube.
Cool, let's do a couple more questions. So David says, how did Ryan enjoy Goodwood? This was one of your first years there. Tell us how Goodwood went.
Goodwood for me was a dream come true scenario where Forsberg had been there the last couple of years. He's like, dude, it's like the best event ever. And I was just like, all right. And I'm like, I want to get the invite to go, and I finally did. And we brought the GT4586, and it performed awesome. We did a bunch of work to that thing before it left for the container to get shipped over there, and then it killed it all weekend. It was great. We won 2 events at the, why am I forgetting what it's called? But we're the competition area where we were drifting and hitting a lot of the proximity areas. I won 2 events there. You know, got called up to the stage at the end for the ceremony. Got a big bottle of champagne and a medal. So it was such a cool experience. And then just being able to see all these historic cars that you have, or that I've seen growing up and being a fan of motorsports and have never seen in person before. Like seeing those old DTM cars from the 90s to old Formula One cars from the 80s, the 90s, the early 2000s, the 2010s. Like everything was there. Everything you can imagine, they had something. And then even the old race cars from the 40s and 50s and 60s, like it's just so wild seeing those things run up the hill, and just the heritage that that event has and brings, and the community that it also brings from people all over the world, and so many different types of race cars, from, you know, legit hill climb cars to Formula One. Like it was such a I almost didn't care about jumping in the car to drive. I just wanted time to run around the entire facility and see all these historic race cars that I've never seen in person before, and take pictures and talk to people and just get, you know, new ideas and new experience-wise on how these cars were built and all that. So for me, I'm hoping to go back, and I'm not sure. I heard it was canceled this year, but that hasn't been confirmed to me, so I'm not sure if they're still having it or not. We'll see. Hopefully they do, and hopefully we still get to head over there and run up the hill this season. We'll see.
All right, and then of course, I think the most important question here is from Nitto themselves, and they say, is Ryan ever going to help you build your car, Sam?
Are you? I'm pretty sure I did that in Drift Garage Season 4. And yeah, I know Sam likes to complain like I didn't finish the car, but I finished it enough for it to be driven on track. And then any issues that we had during the shakedown were then put on his shoulders. And as soon as that happened, the car sat for 4 years until I actually saw it for the first time over in a corner here at Race Service, where it's finally getting some work done.
But to be clear, you did break it on the shoot. You broke the car.
Yeah, but that's part of the shakedown.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, I built the car with Chris for Sam on the show, and when you go out and you shake the car down, that's the end of the show. And whatever breaks is now on your shoulders. I mean, you got, what do we do to that thing anyway? Like motor, radiator, turbo, some wiring work. We put 6 handbrakes in the car, wheels, tires, angle kit, suspension. We basically built the whole freaking car for you, and he's complaining about the thing breaking and then not doing any work to it. So, I mean, I don't know what to tell you, Sam. Sorry, bro.
I didn't ask the question. That was Nitto. I wasn't complaining. You did a great job. Thanks for putting in 3 e-brakes, none of which are connected.
I knew where this question was going, though. Sam was going to blame me for it, all right? That is where it was going.
No, I appreciate all the hard work you put into that car, Ryan. And then I'm just going to be hitting you with questions nonstop as we try to rebuild it here.
We're recording this, right? I can take that to the bank next time you want to give me crap about it. All right. Cool.
All right, well, thank you so much, everyone, for tuning in with us. We are going to be doing this for the next 3 Thursdays at least, and we'll just keep on seeing you guys around this time, 2 p.m. PST. Make sure to think of any questions you have for Ryan, and feel free to shoot them throughout the shows. And thanks for watching. Ryan, do you want to send us home?
Yeah, thank you guys for tuning in. Like Sam said, next few Thursdays we'll be on here doing this. I'm also going to be doing a response video for my last vlog, so if you have any further questions that can't wait till next week, hit me up on there. If I don't get to them, we'll answer them next Thursday as well. So thanks for tuning in. Thank Nitto and Driving Line. Give them a follow. They're putting us on and letting us do this, so it'd be a cool experience to keep interacting with you guys and keep you going on in the world of race service in Tuerck.